So are we ready to go?
We are.
All right. Thanks everybody for joining us for Drink Wine and Get Organized. My name is Carrie Peoples, and my company is called Neat Smart because neat really is smart. I make busy people's lives easier by creating organization systems in people's homes. And this is my great friend Nancy Waldeck.
Woohoo! The Healthy Chef Partyologist.
I think I got it wrong last time.
And that's right.
So we're going to go over some organizing tips today for summer, plus it looks like we've got a great spread of some fun summer recipes, which I'm very excited about. So first I wanted to give is a quick, maybe not so quick, but an organizing tip for summer. So today is the summer solstice, which means that it is the longest day of the year. I think we were both informed at our
yoga classes.
morning yoga classes, and we were at celebrating National Yoga Day as well. But anyway, the days are longer, they're going to start getting shorter, but you've got a little bit more time. Even if you're working and you're not in school, like I wish I were sometimes, you have a little bit more daylight, so you can get a few more things done. So my big tip is to recommend that you tackle one of those big organizing projects that you've been wanting to do. I know, nobody wants to do it. But if you break it down into smaller chunks, it will be a lot easier.
Love that.
So even if you just set yourself up, so I am going to tackle maybe organizing the garage. A big project I hear a lot of people doing is organizing photographs. So whether they're print photographs or even the digital photographs, I don't know how you have yours organized, but that's another big project that you could try to tackle this summer because you've got a length of time that you can do it. A nice thing about setting a goal like that is having a stopping point. So if you say, okay, I'm just going to work on this through the month of July or through the month of August, then you're setting yourself up so that you have a time limit so it's not quite so daunting. And like I say, try to do it for 15 minutes a day. I'm in the process of moving my office downstairs, so I'm having to do a lot of figuring out my desk, where my file's going to go, how are we going to rearrange the room, because I'm sharing the office with my husband.
Oh no!
But he's not there all the time, so and neither am I, so that's good. But anyway, but we're just tackling it, I'm really tackling it one day at a time, and like I said, 15 minutes or when I'm feeling inspired. And then I also give myself a little bit of a reward at the end of my 15-minute session.
Oh, I love that.
So maybe a glass of wine, maybe it's going for a walk, but just giving myself a break so that you can say, okay, I've done my job, I've done my 15 minutes, and then it's not quite so daunting. So that's my tip.
I love that, Carrie, because I hate having to tackle something that's humongous.
Exactly.
And then I just dread it, like I was being silly about. But if I break it into little manageable pieces, one of my gurus says 1% a day, right? You improve 1% a day, and by the end of the year, that's a lot of improving. So I'm hoping to get my pantry organized.
That sounds like so much fun.
Oh no! So my kitchen is super organized.
Yes, it is.
But my pantry, not so much. So that's my big organizing project for the summer.
That's a good one. That's a great one because that'll give you a huge sense of accomplishment. So that when you have your busy season in the fall, everything's set up and ready for you to go.
Ready to go. And speaking of the fall, and speaking of summer, okay, so we don't want to turn on the oven very much during the summer, do we?
No.
We're probably grilling outside some. So I have 3 great ideas for recipes.
Great.
That we'll put together ourselves, and we don't even have to turn on the oven.
Love it.
Yay!
Love it. I'm always looking for ways to make life easier, and having a good recipe they don't have to heat up the kitchen floor. It's perfect.
Okay, so the first thing we're doing is an avocado, dill, and yogurt soup.
Yum.
Yeah.
Yum.
So I've got 2 avocados already pitted, peeled, and put into the blend tub, or a Vitamix, or you can even use a regular blender, but I love the texture that comes out of this.
So it gets a little bit smoother?
And it gets a lot smoother. Okay, so I've got the avocados in. Cucumber is a great carrier of flavor, so this is just one of those big English, come on sweetie, English cucumbers that's peeled and diced.
Okay.
A couple other things, some green onions.
Well, let me ask you about the cucumbers, because I'm always puzzled about this.
Okay.
Do you need to peel them? Or is it more of a texture thing?
It's a texture thing, even in this, and it's not as pretty a color. And we're all about the color.
Nice.
You eat with your eyes first, so it's going to be a beautiful kind of sherbety kind of color, like a light green. Okay, I've got some chopped dill. Smell this, Carrie.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that wonderful? So we're going to use about a 1/4 cup of chopped dill. I've got lemon juice and lemon zest in the pool. And then finally, we gotta have some zippity doo dah. So
Bring on the heat.
yeah. Well, actually, you know, even in the summer, a little heat makes you sweat, which is better.
That's what I hear.
Yes.
That's why you have the spicy food.
Jalapeno. And last but not least, I'm going to let you pour in a cup of cold water, and I'm going to put in a cup of non-fat Greek yogurt. Now, all of these things are super soft that we put in here. So, thank you. I'm just going to put the top on, and then I am going to, I'm going to turn it on. I'm actually going to pulse it because you'll see how fast it goes.
Okay.
There we go. It's
That's
done.
better.
Yeah. Okay, so, or snap, yes. And so this keeps great in your fridge, Carrie, for about 3 or 4 days. And it's just really cooling and refreshing. It's got a little bit of protein from your non-fat Greek yogurt. And of course, you could zip it up a little bit longer if you wanted to have it even creamier.
That looks great.
Yeah. And we got to put a little teal on top.
Love your spoons.
I know, aren't they cute? There we go. So I'm going to let you taste that.
Oh, it smells heavenly.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah.
And then while you taste it, I'm going to talk about the perfect pairing for it. So I love sparkling wine, especially in the summer. It's typically a little less alcohol in sparkling wine. And this one is so much fun. It's an American sparkling wine. It is a Blanc de Noir, so it's made with Pinot Noir.
Oh, okay.
But it's, look at the color. And guess where it's from. Just guess.
Oregon? Is it American? Wait, is it American?
It's American.
Georgia?
No.
Not Georgia. Texas.
No.
Okay.
We can go. Okay, it's actually from New Mexico.
Oh my
Is that
gosh.
the
Would
coolest?
never.
I know.
Oh, it smells good. Cheers.
Yeasty like champagne.
Ooh, that's so crisp and refreshing. So what is
Yep.
Gruet or Gruet?
It's actually the American version of so it's Gruet. So we were
okay.
pronouncing the T. It's a Blanc de Noir. It's less than $20.
Oh, wow,
Sometimes
this is
like
good.
$17, and you might find it in any grocery store.
That's awesome. I love this.
Yeah.
I could definitely drink this. This is so refreshing. This would be great if you've had a long day or it's hot outside.
Or anything.
Or it's Wednesday.
At 3 o'clock.
At 3:10. Okay, so let me talk about another organizing
You're
tip.
organizing.
I am organizing and drinking. So I wanted to share some of my favorite tools, and I'll just hold these up.
Okay.
Organizing
Or here,
tools.
I'll hold them for you.
Thank you. So these are from the Container Store. And they look like file bins, but they're just called multi-purpose bins. That's the small, medium, I also have the large, and they have an extra large, and I'll just hold these up. But these are nice. You can put papers in these. I've seen people use them in their freezer. Like if you have a pull-out freezer, or even if you want to stack up, let's say, your frozen veggies in here, that way you have almost like a file full for your frozen vegetables.
Is so cool. You're speaking my language.
I love it. This, you can, like I said, papers, magazines, files, especially if you're transporting things back and forth to your car. This is really good. I've also used it in bathrooms for hairbrushes and like flat irons, things like that, underneath the sink. The thinner one, like I said, you could even use it to put your washcloths in, or if you're trying to separate things like that. But these are just great, different, and they're cheap. So I think the smallest one, which you've got there, is
$3.99.
$4.
Yeah.
So these are from the Container Store. I love these. I always keep these in my car, and I use them at clients' houses all the time. I use them in my house. Like I say, they're good in the freezer.
Freezer idea. Love that.
Yeah, for like frozen veggies and keeping like you want to separate your veggies and your meats, or your veggies and your fruits.
You know, you could even use these in your refrigerator, though. So if you put in like your apples or something like that, those are fabulous.
And then you can just you can wash them very easily. So I use these in garages as well. I mean, pretty much any room in the house you can use these, and I love them. They're cheap. The most expensive one, let's see, this is $5.99, so that means that the most expensive one, which is a little bit longer, is $6.99.
Wow.
Electronic devices like cords and cables, it's just a great system. So as we go through and do more of these, I'll share more organizing bins. But let me tell you, do not go out and buy things just because they look cool, or maybe you're going through Home Goods or the Container Store, and you're like, oh, I love this little gizmo or whatever, because that's the worst thing ever. Because people will buy things, they get home, and they're like, oh, well, I need to use this, but it really doesn't serve their purpose.
Doesn't work in their
It may not work in
environment.
this, it may not, their cabinet may not be large enough, or what they're storing may be too big for the container size. So don't shop for stuff just for entertainment, and don't shop without a professional. But seriously, don't buy things thinking, oh, well, I'm going to get this one thing and it's going to organize me, because it's not. You've got to go through the process first of figuring out.
You got to go through the pain
You have to-
before you got the gain.
Organizing gains is what we're all about. So you want to just, don't shop ahead of time, but be on the lookout for things that can help you, and know that there are some good tools out there that can make your life easier, but just don't get it ahead of time. Make sure that you're measuring the space, measuring the stuff that you have. Like some things like this may not fit in your freezer. I don't know. So you have to just check it before you go buy stuff.
See, I love that because they're inexpensive,
Yes.
right? I can afford them, and they look like great pantry organizers too.
Yes.
So,
So you might just set these aside for your pantry for later. Okay.
Okay,
Next,
so next recipe 2. Okay, so do you like tabbouleh?
I love tabbouleh.
I do too. And it's good for you, just the way it is, but wouldn't it be fun if it was even better for you?
Yes. I need
Yeah.
that.
Okay, so this is a way to amp up the veggies in your diet, because we all pretty much need more vegetables, right? So I bought the cauliflower pearls.
Is this the same thing as riced cauliflower?
Yes, it is, and almost every grocery store has them now. And you can make this yourself if you have the whole head of cauliflower or buy the florets.
Okay.
Okay. My tip for that is when you put in your food processor, so you just use the grinding blade in your food processor,
okay.
the regular blade that's in there, only fill the bowl up about a quarter.
Okay.
Process those, take them out, put them in the bowl, do the next one.
Okay.
Cauliflower is mostly water,
Okay.
so if you fill your bowl full, guess what you have?
You're gonna have
And
mush.
Yeah, that highly technical looking term.
Mush.
Mush.
M-U-S-H.
Okay,
No,
so
this is very in right now. I keep hearing about riced cauliflower.
yeah, well, there's a
cauliflower
gazillion
rice.
things
Yeah.
you can do with cauliflower, but this is one of my favorites. So we're coming back to the tabbouleh again. I have some tomatoes in here that we just coarsely chopped. Still have the seeds, still have the skins on them. Doesn't matter. I have one of the bags of cauliflower pearls or rice. So that goes into the bowl. Then I have some chopped parsley. Yes. So it's going to taste really fresh. And then I'm going to waft this over here.
Love
Mint.
mint.
Yes.
Oh, that smells like
And we
summer.
don't use enough parsley. Enough mint. Parsley too. Okay, so now I have those ingredients in my bowl. But all I'm going to do to make a little dressing for this is I have the juice of a lemon. And I'm going to let you glug in some olive oil. And this is my favorite, closest to local olive oil I can get.
Oh, great.
It's
How much?
California. I'll tell you when. So start glugging.
Glugging and glugging.
And one more glug. That's it. So about a quarter cup.
Okay.
And I'm just going to whisk this together, pour it over my 4 ingredients, my herbs, my cauliflower, and my tomatoes. Oh, will you grind in some pepper? And I'm going to go right behind you, Carrie. We're going to switch places. Ooh, presto chango. And I'm going to grab some salt.
You
And
got
put
muscle
that
for this. No wonder your arms are so fit.
Okay, here we go. Okay. Now, all I'm going to do is stir this up.
Oh,
And
wow. These colors are
I
beautiful.
know, isn't that gorgeous? Look at this. And it's so easy. Everybody can get these ingredients in a quick grocery store trip. And then look at what I have to put them in. So instead of using it as a salad, you can also, I have perfectly clean hands.
Of course.
You can actually put it in a lettuce leaf like
Oh,
this. I
great
love the
idea.
bib and baby lettuce like this. It's so pretty.
That looks great.
And this is hydroponic lettuce.
Oh,
Yes.
that means it was grown in water?
In water. And
Oh,
so here we go.
Oh, word.
Messy, sorry, Carrie.
This
Didn't mean to move it, Gabby.
This is great.
Isn't that wonderful? Okay, so I developed this recipe for a greens company called Pete's Living Greens that does all their greens hydroponically,
Oh, wow.
and they're so good. Isn't that lettuce just so tender
It
and
is.
yummy?
And it's got a lot of bite to it. It's not wilty.
Yeah,
or,
yeah. Okay, so
Mm.
now that we've had cauliflower tabbouleh, I'm going to have the perfect wine pairing for it. And that is, have you had Albarino before?
Yes, it's delicious.
It is. It's Spain's answer to Chardonnay, and it's light and fruity tasting, really crisp and citrusy. So it's going to be a great complement to a little bit of acid from the tomatoes in this cauliflower tabbouleh, the lemon juice.
Oh, wow.
Isn't it fragrant?
It's nice.
Yeah, very aromatic.
Very floral.
Mhm.
Florally? Floral-ish?
Yeah.
Floral?
I like that. I like inventing words.
Ooh. That's great. I like
Good
that.
acidity.
Mhm.
So that's what we're looking for in a summer wine, right? Something that's refreshing. We don't want anything that's big and beefy.
No, and it's not sweet
Yeah,
either.
no,
I don't
no.
like the sweet ones. Oh, wow. That's great.
Oh, yum, yum, yum.
Oh. So my last organizing tip I'm going to talk about, and this really relates to everything organizing, is whether you're talking about your pantry, your office, your kitchen, is think about how do you want this room to function, and what do you do in here? Like, so this is your kitchen, you cook in here, you probably entertain some and eat in here. But I'm guessing this isn't where you fold your laundry. This isn't where you keep your clothes. This isn't where...
Only occasionally.
Occasionally. But this is, so that helps to, a lot of people struggle with, well, I'm not sure what I should have in here, where this should go. Because everything in your house, whether it's a knife, a glass, a piece of clothing, has to have a home. So where does it live? Well, where do I use it? So everything in your kitchen should relate to things that help you cook or entertain or prepare food, serve food, things like that. So that helps you to figure out, okay, well that tells me what doesn't belong in here. So I don't need my computer in here. I don't want to store my cables or electronics, things like that. And you know, for some people that might seem really obvious, but I think it's important to establish what a room's purpose is. What do you do in here? And that helps you figure out, okay, so what belongs in here? What should be in here? So anything that's related to kitchen stuff goes in here and doesn't go in the garage or in another room way down the hall. So if you've got spices, let's say, that you're storing down the hall, that's not really helping you. That makes you probably not want to cook because you're going to have to go further away to get them.
Oh, yeah.
So it's just, you know, again, some people it's very logical, but you just have to think about what am I doing in here and how do I want to function in here? Like the office that I'm redoing. So my office space was in a guest room. So whenever we had guests, I had to kind of shuffle and clean up my guest, clean up my office and get that stuff out of the way. And it just became confusing about what are we really doing in here? Now, not that we have tons of guests, and I'm not saying that you need to go get a bigger house, but you really have to be very purposeful about what you're letting in your house and where you're storing things.
So you have to be strategic about it if you're talking in business terms or corporate terms. So strategic and think about what's the most effective use of the space.
Because you want to promote, so if you enjoy cooking, you want to do everything that you can to support that. Or even if you don't enjoy cooking, probably even more
you really want
to make it easier for you.
Yeah.
So you don't want to have it conflict with other activities that you might be doing in there as well. I think a lot of families struggle with this. Where, well, my kids bring their toys into the kitchen or they want to all be in the same room. And that's okay, but you can't have everything stored in one room. You've got to really designate a home for everything. I know you've done that in here, but it's important in every part of your house.
I love it. I have a friend that has labels on the top of all of her drawers, and it says what goes in that drawer. You can't see it when the drawers are closed, but when you open it up, you see the top, and you know exactly where to put things.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
Because you might forget, or you might have other people in your kitchen if you're entertaining or something like that.
Yeah,
So
I mean, my husband is great about unloading the dishwasher, and we've had this kitchen for like 4 years now.
He still doesn't know.
He still doesn't know.
Yeah.
But that's all right. It's not his job. It's
No,
our
no, no.
job.
But I get it. It's the same thing.
And so I keep thinking, should I put those labels on?
Well, I'm always rearranging, so I'm like, oh, well, maybe we should store this here, or maybe this should go, in another drawer, or you get something new. And that's the thing is, it's always evolving. You get a new blender, let's say. You may have to store it someplace different from where you stored your old one because maybe it's bigger or different size or something, or different shape. So you just have to adjust. So I'm eyeing your tomatoes here because this is such a summer food.
Isn't this just gorgeous? So is that one yours? I think I was drinking it, but I have no diseases that I know of.
We've known each other.
Yeah, a long time. Okay, so this is my suggestion. We always love caprese salads in the summer, and they're a great, okay, so you've got a whole meal here. because you have protein from your cheese, you got a little fat in there, you've got your beautiful tomatoes, your gorgeous basil. But people think of this as Italian, and it doesn't have to be Italian.
Oh.
This idea is eaten all over the Mediterranean. So in Italy, they might use mozzarella or burrata or something like that. In Spain, they might use shredded manchego. In France, in the south of France, near the Mediterranean, they're going to use goat cheese because we love goat cheese, and they do too. So tomatoes, basil, goat cheese. I do have a tip on tomatoes.
Yes.
See how beautiful and dry this is?
Nice. Yeah, mine get kind of soupy, and then you
Yes.
pass the plate around, and everyone gets
Everybody's
tomato
getting the
juice.
juice.
Yeah.
We've been at the same.
Sorry.
We've been at the same parties.
Yeah.
So here we go. So here's my idea. So slice your tomatoes,
Okay.
and then put a little bit of salt, just a little bit. Toss them with the salt, and it's going to drain into the bowl.
Okay.
And it's going to, one, flavor the tomatoes with the salt, and two, it's going to make them drier. So when you do something like this, it's going to not be so
Not sure. So you mentioned goat cheese, and is that the same thing as feta?
It-
Or feta is a goat cheese?
Okay, so interestingly enough, feta is one of the only cheeses that can be made from all three milks: sheep's, cow's, or goat's milk. Isn't that interesting?
I did not know that.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so you could use feta on this and then use a little Greek olive oil on it, and lemon juice, because that
Okay.
would be very Greek. You could make this Spanish by using Spanish olive oil and maybe a little bit of sherry vinegar.
Okay.
Okay, but we're doing France.
Okay.
So we got goat cheese. We're going to put a little bit of red wine vinegar on there. So just drizzle it over. Sorry, I didn't open it for you beforehand.
Yeah. This is real life.
Yes. And then, beautiful. And then here we go. I'm going to drizzle it with our olive oil.
Yum.
And I know, isn't it just gorgeous?
Smells
A little
so
salt. I'll let you salt.
Salt it.
All pepper. And when we do that, oh, I booby trapped this for you. It was so hard because the screw was on really hard. Sorry, Karen. Well, you got your workout.
Like, hi.
Okay, so look at that. Isn't
That
that
looks so
so
good.
pretty and so easy?
That
So
is
if
great.
I was serving this for dinner for my husband and I, or just, excuse me, 4 of us,
Yes.
I would grill some bread, maybe
yum.
have a beautiful piece of white fish off
Grill
the
it-
grill.
Grill it outside.
Grill it outside.
Yes.
Have a beautiful piece of white fish off the grill. Serve this, and it's dinner, and it's
It's perfect.
so delicious.
So simple.
So I do have the wine that I would pair with this, and this is our first red wine of the afternoon. And don't you love being able to say of the afternoon?
Yes, because there's more coming later.
Okay, so this is a red wine. It is from France, and it is from Beaujolais.
Oh.
It's the bottom of Burgundy.
You know, I thought Beaujolais was for November.
Wow. Yeah, well, that is Beaujolais Nouveau. This is the finest wine from Beaujolais. It is called the Beaujolais Cru. There's only 10 places in Beaujolais that can call themselves a cru. This is a Morgon. It would be a Morgan if you and I were talking about it, but it's French.
French,
So,
baby.
yeah. So it's a Morgon, and it's a little bit more expensive than just a regular Beaujolais, but it's worth it.
Oh, it smells good.
Isn't it just cherry and yeah.
Nice.
So it's going to play
Perfect.
against the fatness from the goat cheese, the wonderful basil, and the umami in the tomatoes.
Oh, well, this is a perfect combination. And I love, again, 3 great recipes that you
Super
don't have to
easy.
cook.
Yeah.
And I love cooking, but I'm with you. I don't want to turn the oven on in the summer. So, well, awesome. I think this is a great day, a great time that we've had of drinking wine and getting organized. So remember to get some cool bends, like I showed you from Container Store. What was my first thing? Tackle a big summer project, and what else? Have a purpose in your rooms.
That's right. Make it strategic.
Strategic. Be strategic. All right. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Thanks so much for joining
See you
us.
again in 2 weeks.
Bye.